All right, let's now turn to other big developments and let's bring you the big focus story of the hour. After multiple CBI raids and action on TMC leaders, Bengal CM attacked central agencies and the misuse of central agencies once again today in Kolkata as she addressed a large gathering in the Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Stadium in Kolkata. And in a major show of strength, in fact, Mamata Banerjee also dared the Prime Minister to challenge her electorally in a number of stinging statements that she made, one of them being where she said that the arrests of TMC leaders are not based on facts. She claimed that whoever is a strong leader is being put behind bars, making a strong pitch for opposition unity as well. Mamata says Nitish Kumar, Hemant Soren and many others will come together in 2024. So these are all important, highly politically significant statements that Mamata Banerjee made today, also calling out recent raids. Like I mentioned, Mamata questioned, where is the proof and where are the facts? Let's listen in.
এত টাকা পাওয়া গেল এখনো পর্যন্ত কি প্রমাণ হয়েছে? প্রমাণ হয়েছে? আমরা তো আইনে বিশ্বাস করি। কিসের সূত্র? না ওটা বারবার বলতে বলতে ভালো লাগে না, বাজে কথা বলে বলবো না। তথ্যটা কোথায়? টোটালটাই অসত্য। দিল্লির এজেন্সিকে সাথে নিয়ে বেকারদের চাকরি সব কেড়ে নিয়ে পাবলিক সেক্টর সব বন্ধ করে দিয়ে গ্যাসের দাম বাড়িয়ে দিয়ে পেট্রোলের দাম বাড়িয়ে দিয়ে ডিজেলের দাম বাড়িয়ে দিয়ে বুলেট ট্রেন তো লোকে দেখেনি, কিন্তু বুলেট ট্রেনের মতো বুলেটের মিথ্যাচার চলছে। বুলেট ট্রেনের থেকেও বেশি গতিতে মিথ্যার গতি চলছে। কি যেন বলে, মন কা দাম না মন কা ব্যথা? মন কি ব্যাথ না, ওটা মন কি ব্যথা হয়ে যাবে। মন কি বাতটা মন কি ব্যথা হয়ে যাবে।
Well, let me introduce our guest joining us here on the program today, Priyanka Tibrewal, spokesperson of the BJP, Mamata Banerjee, political analyst, Shantanu Sen, former joint director of the CBI. Very good evening to all of you. Thanks for joining us. Mamata Banerjee will be joining us shortly. Okay, he's there with us now. Very good evening. Thanks for joining us. I want to begin by asking you, Priyanka Tibrewal, a very strong statement coming from Mamata Banerjee again, saying, why don't you fight me politically? Why resort to misuse of agencies? Clearly referring to the recent raids on the TMC netas. Your response?
Simply dialogues, and it is basically given to digress from the topic, to divert the minds of people. But now she should understand that, and I clearly understand the reason for crying foul, because they are on the receiving end. Now, let me point this out, that whatever investigation is going on in West Bengal is by the order of the Honorable High Court. It is not the BJP who has asked the agencies to come and investigate their leaders who are going behind bars each and every day we are seeing. But these are being done on the directions of the High Court, this investigation which is going on. Now, we have seen that stacks of cash has been recovered, and we have all witnessed that before our own eyes. Now, instead of trying to give an explanation to that, she is saying that ED and CBI are behind that. But tell me that does the Chief Minister have an answer to the unaccounted cash which was found? No, she doesn't have. Because if she believes that her ministers are not tainted, then tell me one good reason why Parthu Chatterjee was kicked out from the party? Why he is not present in TMC? Because it was very well found that there was a huge amount of cash which was recovered. See, now she is crying foul when the students here are jobless, they are sitting on streets, and that money was collected from these students on the promise of giving jobs to them. So that money has been recovered. So that is the reason now she's crying foul. She's saying that she and Nitish Kumar and Hemant Soren, look at their governments. All the governments are tainted. All these governments are tainted, where these kind of raids or inquiries are going on. Now tell me, if cash is being recovered and if you are guilty of such a thing, nobody can just catch you and put you in the jail without any good reason. There are courts, there is judiciary.
Priyanka
Why
Tibrewal,
are they
that
not getting
all the
bail?
strong leaders of opposition parties are currently under some investigation or the other. Look at Aam Aadmi Party, you've got Satyendra Jain, you've got Manish Sisodia. Look at Shiv Sena, you've got Sanjay Rawat. These are the biggest names in these opposition parties, isn't it? Or the
They may
Gandhis,
be,
for that
they may
matter,
be,
who's
but
under the ED net. So
being-
Mamata Banerjee factually is not incorrect when she says the top brass of the opposition is under some scrutiny or the other by some central agency or the other. There is a pattern, is what she's saying.
Tell me that being a top brass of the opposition, does it give you the right to do any kind of corruption? No, it doesn't. Law is equal for everyone. Whoever is found guilty will be punished. So they were found guilty on documents. That is the reason they are being investigated. That is the reason that the court has rejected their bail a number of times, because there was enough evidence to support the same.
Yes, the evidence has to be proved in a court of law. The investigation is still underway.
That is the reason
But
the
we
bail
are
is being
only
rejected each and every
questioning,
time. Anubrata
we
Mandal
are
or
simply
Partha Chatterjee,
asking
their bails
you
have
that is it too much of a coincidence that all the opposition parties and their top leaders are suspect, their activities are suspect, whereas the same leaders with the similar kind of charges, when they cross over, then they become clean. Of course, this has been said a number of times. Let me have Anirban Banerjee weigh in on this. Anirban Banerjee, Mamata Banerjee very carefully avoided the mention of Partha Chatterjee. She's defended Anubrata Mandal very fiercely, but one of her top leaders, her lieutenants in TMC, Partha Chatterjee, who was found with moons of cash in his aide's place, somehow she glossed over his name. Do you think that there is something, of course, that the TMC is not very comfortable about when it comes to corruption within the party?
Regarding the cattle smuggling case in the matter which Mr. Anubrata Mandal has been arrested, let me put this very clearly that the biggest beneficiary of this cattle smuggling racket is India's biggest pappu. The person who is known as India's biggest pappu is the biggest beneficiary of this scam. And if the ED or the CBI, if they have the metal, if they are actually investigating with some iota of neutrality left within them, they should actually summon India's biggest pappu and question him
to the
from how much.
made by Mr. Anirban Banerjee, because he is speaking.
Doesn't matter. We don't care what an outsider says.
Against the Home Minister of this country.
Don't
This
care
is not
what
fair.
the
You cannot
outsider
just
says.
butt in. I will allow you your time. Let Mr. Banerjee make his point. Whether you agree or not, we can always give you another chance to rebut, please. Carry on,
Without
Mr.
having any
Banerjee.
kind of evidence, he
Madam
is abusing
Tibrewal,
Well,
the
we have to have a civil
Exactly
debate.
to
We
her.
cannot talk over each other. It
Against him, and I
defeats
will
the
ensure the
purpose,
same.
ma'am. Please respect the decorum
Madam
of the
Tibrewal.
program. Carry on, Mr. Banerjee. Finish your point.
Madam Tibrewal should actually clarify why she is so agitated.
You are here to.
Who exactly is India's
No,
biggest
you
pappu
cannot
to
not
her?
allow the others to speak. I'm sorry. We will have to then put faders down. I will allow
they
Mr.
are a
Anirban
fascist party.
Banerjee
This
to
is what they
complete
do.
before I come to you. Please complete, sir.
Yeah,
Okay,
so mediated
yes.
at the mention of the name, or rather the brand, India's biggest pappu, I did not take anybody's name. So therefore, it seems the truth, the actual truth, is very, very uncomfortable for the BJP. Whenever the neutrality of the investigative agencies, central agencies are in question, they have to prove their neutrality by questioning some of the BJP leaders who are under the scanner right now, or they used to be under the scanner at a time when they were not in the BJP. So I'll give you two names, only two names, Shubhendu Adhikari and Himanto Biswa Sharma. Weren't they accused in the chit fund scam or the Naroda scam? It is the same very BJP who held press conferences after press conferences and labeled these people as corrupt politicians. And now India's biggest pappu refuses to answer a question when he is asked whether Himanto Biswa Sharma is still a corrupt politician. He says, "Rehne do bhaiya, aise sawal nahi karte." So therefore, we all know what is exactly going on. Whether it's the
But the
court
fact of the
directive or
matter
not,
is,
the
Mr.
CBI or
Banerjee,
ED will not question anyone
yes,
who has gone to the
I
BJP.
assume you're a critique of the BJP, even though we've introduced you as a political analyst. What I see very clearly, of course, is the fact that even though you do have these leaders, whether it is KCR or Mamata Banerjee or Arvind Kejriwal coming out and taking these barbs, we do not see a united front, each on their own. So the tragedy of the situation is you do not have a united front to make these statements at the moment. Each one on their own individual platform. You have Mamata Banerjee in a huge stadium in Kolkata making these statements. But here you have Prime Minister Modi or Amit Shah for that matter taking the national stage, addressing the national audience. So there somehow I feel if you are to address these issues, there must be some unity in the opposition. Let me bring in former Joint Director Shantanu Sen, who is with me, Joint Director of the CBI, former Joint Director. Thank you, sir, for joining us and for waiting patiently. Mr. Sen, when you see these developments, what is it that you notice? Do you also notice a pattern that the agencies are acting unfairly in one direction, targeting a certain set of leaders, or you think this is just the agency doing its job?
No, the perception is very clear that today alleged corruption in some opposition leaders is being investigated under orders of the court and on the orders of the government by the central agencies.
Right.
And the allegation of corruption made by the opposition against people in power is not being investigated. That perception is striking, and that's why we are debating this. The question before us today is, why is the opposition failing to gather its forces and collecting enough material to insist and get its way about the investigation about the corrupt in the people in power?
Okay.
The opposition was not this weak in the past. I remember in my younger days, there were people like Jyotirmay Basu. There were people like even Feroz Gandhi, who was a part of the Congress, who got the Haridas Mundra and the LIC scam investigated. Jyotirmay Basu, the Central Water Institute scandal, and many more. Then Antule in the cement scam was investigated on the entire investigation of the opposition. Gurudas Dasgupta opened a floodgate of investigation against so many in the government when he brought up the Harshad Mehta scandal in the open, then the Hawala scandal, Bofors. So the opposition has been very powerful in the past. And while the government even then might have investigated people in opposition also showed its mettle.
But now, sir,
Today
the
we have to
opposition's
ask this
argument
question,
is
why
the central
opposition is not
agency is fully under the control, the Central Bureau of Investigation is fully under the control of the party in power.
Let me finish.
Yes.
Let me finish. Central agencies have always been subordinate to the central government. That is the law of the land.
Yes.
CBI is a subordinate organization of the Prime Minister's office. And it acts on the orders of the government. And recently, in 2018, 17A has been introduced in the Prevention of Corruption Act, where CBI cannot investigate any decision of any public servant unless the competent authority allows it to investigate. It is free to investigate a case of people being trapped or people having disproportionate assets. But a decision of the government, because it was often thought that CBI was investigating wrong decisions wrongly, so the government took away this power from the CBI. Okay. That is there. CBI has even then be under the... I remember in 1967 when Mrs. Gandhi asked the CBI to investigate the Birlas, the Supreme Court quashed the searches because that was a wrong decision. So, courts were active, the opposition was better reinforced, opposition worked hard. Today, let me very sorrily say that the opposition is not trusted. 277 people from the opposition have crossed into the other party. So, Where are the deep throats? Where are those whistleblowers? They won't go to the opposition and say because उनको मरना नहीं है. If they, वो कहेंगे मैंने दे दिया information और वो मुझे बेच देगा तो opposition has to look inwards. Opposition has lost its power, and the government in position is taking advantage of that. Now let us come to the investigations.
Yes.
Are the investigations dishonest? Well, the opposition feels that certain investigations are not going on fully, and they have named them. There, the opposition can easily get lawyers to go to the courts and impress upon the court why has the investigation stopped. Does the opposition lack competence? Does the opposition not have lawyers? Opposition has to fight its game. Merely coming to the channels and shouting from the rooftops that we are being investigated, and while we are not able to get an investigation done is not enough.
So you are saying, Mr. Sen,
Times
that
have changed.
and there's a big if the central agencies are being misused, opposition also is allowing it to happen, not doing the needful to stop that in the ranks. They cannot just simply get away making a lazy argument about it. Mamata Banerjee, your response.
Yeah, my response is that
That is my position.
Yeah, apart from the BSP, we haven't seen a single opposition party till now which has actually cowed down before this pressure of the ED, CBI or the IET by the BJP. It is only the BSP which has actually gone to the back foot. Apart from that, whether it's SP, whether it's the TMC, whether it's the RJD or the Shiv Sena, whether the NCP, whether the Aam Aadmi Party, whatever party it is, none of them have gone to the back foot, and come every election, the BJP is losing very badly to these all so-called regional parties. And to the answer to your last statement, previous statement, the problem at the pan-India level lies with the performance of the Congress, because in the roughly 180 seats where the Congress has a one-to-one fight against the BJP, their performance is very, very dismal. 2014 and 2019.
So you agree in a way with Mr. Sen?
Less than 10%.
Yes, that the opposition has failed to gather the paraphernalia to fight against the central government wherever they feel there's been injustice. Quick last word, I need to wrap up. We are cutting to Kartavya Path inauguration.
Yes.
Priyanka Tibrewal,
So,
closing comments, please.
Yes. So winning election doesn't give the right of corruption to any party for that matter. And what Mr. Sen said here, I will just add to that he said that the people who are yelling on the television should go before the court of law. So TMC did that. They filed a petition before the Honorable High Court saying that why Shwendu Adhikari is not questioned. You know what is the fate of that petition? It was dismissed. It was dismissed because they do not have enough evidence to prove the same. So blabbering on the television won't help. If they are so honest, they have to prove it before the court of law.
Okay, let's leave it at that. Yes, we do understand, and there were some very important points made. A lot of clarity given by Mr. Shantanu Sen as well on how things are at the moment. Thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen, for giving us your time this